Mr. Mayor, council members, my name is Jason Nunley. I reside at 621 Somerset Road in Flower Mound, Texas.
Thank you.
If I may take just a minute, I'd like to try to explain a little bit about what we're proposing and just a little color on how what we're proposing is different than what a lot of people think of when you think of and see industrial. It's a commonplace term, but it's one that's much harder to define because not all industrial is created the same and not all industrial is equal. So why do we dub what we do urban industrial? And what is it? It is a Class A plus investment grade buildings that are really specifically located in core infill urban locations. They are planned and designed to fit into and be additive to established urban environments and really cohabitate well with a varied number of surrounding uses. They're specifically designed to cater to and attract thriving businesses who value being located in a master planned business park. We place a strong emphasis on creating a sense of place throughout with best-in-class aesthetics, enhanced landscaping, and attention to the smallest of details throughout the entire design process. Urban District 30 is the culmination of extensive experience with reshaping, refining, and evolving these types of business parks. I've personally been involved with and responsible for building 36 of these same shallow bay infill urban logistics building and have taken bits and pieces of what we could do better from each and every one and put them into what you see before you today. Just a few other aerial views of the property. A little different perspective. So let me introduce, if I may, Urban District 30. What is it? It's 5-building, 980,000 square foot master planned business park. When we start working with a blank 80-acre canvas, our process started with a commitment to placemaking. That vision took form as building orientation, careful attention to massing, visibility, sightlines, and spatial relations to the existing surrounding factored into what we're presenting to you today. Urban District 30 will be developed to compete head-to-head with any Class A business park in North Texas to attract relocating corporations and retain existing growing businesses. This site, as Mr. Langford alluded to, has a lot of potential, but also numerous challenges to development and to unlocking that potential. I'm gonna just to briefly touch on several of the challenges. We do have over 60 foot of elevation change or relief, starting kind of from the top of Republic here and going back to the east. That just it made for massive challenges with trying to get big buildings flat. Requires a lot of earthwork, a lot of moving in a lot of retaining walls. We also have a 75-foot high-pressure gas line that bisects the site to the south. Those are a joy to work with. We've got jurisdictional waters of the United States on the west property line that are controlled by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. We touched on Columbia Drive not being built to commercial standards yet. And the fact that we've got 3 separate landowners. Part of what we found attractive in this particular case was the ability to bring 3 different land pieces that could have been sold and parceled off to different uses together into one master plan development with thought given to the whole. These combined challenges have contributed to the site being passed over, probably for commercial development, but we've enjoyed working hand in hand with city staff and are very much committed to overcoming all these and making this vision a reality. One too many. So, part of what I truly believe differentiates this product from, again, what a lot of people think of or see if you drive around and look at the older industrial product is just that attention to detail. And it's from the very start of site planning up until the very last flower and shrub is planted on the job. It's not just the colors, but it's the textures and the materials, it's the quantities and the surroundings that all really have to work in harmony to create something special. I know that sounds geeky, but I'm passionate about it. I'm committed to it, to making something truly unique and something truly special here. We pioneered the use of vertically stained concrete panels. So it's not just paint at the entries that you see. We use a lot of stone, a lot of texture in this concrete stain, which is an extremely rich and vibrant color. And really, after doing it on numerous locations, has come to be associated with quality by the brokerage community and the businesses that we've put into these buildings. These buildings will be beautiful. They will be modern. They will be very corporate. They will be expensive, but they will be a differentiator to any of the other competition in the market. I've continued to say it and don't want to sound like a broken record, but the devil is in the details. And we do focus on elevating the experiences the users have from the moment that they enter the site, even by the time they pass the site on the interstate. And we do this by paying attention to what a lot of people just consider afterthoughts after the buildings are up. But it's the landscaping, it's the lighting, it's the way that those buildings present for 5 months out of the year when it's dark when people are driving by. It's the accessibilities, it's the view corridors, just the sum of all those little things that come together to really let us target the type of tenants that we want. We will build all of the buildings speculatively. We are committed to doing so, and we've built the last 36 speculatively. But we know the type of tenants that these projects target and attract. They're the tech tenants, a lot of R&D, training, some light manufacturing, but most importantly, the common denominator between all those tenants that I mentioned is tenants that are looking for an elevated experience. We will not be the cheapest product in the market. We know this. There's a lot of companies that are a lot bigger than us that's what they do, and we can't compete with them. We have to compete with a better product and a better ultimate user experience. So with that, I'll end my presentation and open it up for any questions.
Well, you know, we met a few months ago, and I commended you at that time for taking a site that is very, very difficult, with heads front and back and all kinds of things. But one of the things that I was most impressed about, besides what you presented, is that you went out, you got the buy-in of the school, the hospital, Christian Care, all your neighbors. You know, if we could, one thing we could tell all of the people that present before us, go out around to the people that you're going to be neighbors with in the future and get, you know, and tell them what you're doing. I think that's to be commended. And I know you'll create hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of jobs. I know a project like this adds taxable value to our tax roll. I mean, that's just a lot of very big, very positive things. And we talked about all that when you first came, and I said, go do it. Let's get this done. So I'm very much in favor of what you've presented and what you've got. But this time I'll ask council for any other questions anyone has. All right. Thank you very much, and I'll open up our public hearing, and then we'll go from there. This time I'll open up the public hearing on items 14 and 15. Anyone that wishes to speak on these items. I see somebody coming. Let me give you name and address for the record, please.
Sure. Dr. King, Chris King. I live at 9517 Pinehurst Drive, Rowlett.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'm the president of Dallas Christian School, and we are excited about this project. For a number of reasons, I'd like to just focus on a few things, if it's okay. I'd be remiss if I didn't also say Mr. Tollison's a great blessing to Dallas Christian as well. Good job. So this project really came to us probably 8 months ago. Urban Logistics approached us, Mr. Nunley. As was stated in the presentation, Park 30 South is property that we are into contract with Urban Logistics. I will say that we spent quite a bit of time doing our due diligence before we entered into contract. As you can imagine, we need to be mindful of our neighbors and our surroundings. Dallas Christian's been around 61 years. We've been in that location over 40 plus years. Probably historically, if you looked at a lot of the ancillary properties around our campus, it was once owned by Dallas Christian. We can't always control what happens around us, but in this event, we took a very particular interest, particularly in the Park 30 North property, and that's the property I want to just focus on here. We like the vision that Mr. Nunley shared with us. We have been walking closely together for months now, partly because we want to know what's going to go on around us. So also, as Mr. Nunley presented, we heard industry, and we were thinking, obviously, the connotation. He helped us to decouple that pejorative connotation from the very beginning, and we were sold on the quality. We liked that. We liked the vision. Pragmatically, we liked the organization, the development of that property. Park 30 North, as you can see on the aerials, is underdeveloped. The owners, this is not meant to be pejorative toward the owners who are out of state, that area has become a hot spot for a lot of homeless. We work alongside a couple of ministries located in the city of Dallas that specialize in going in and helping to find folks who just need a place and some shelter. But that's become a bit of a herd colony out there, and it's been a bit of a pressure point for our local police. It's also that Columbia Drive. It's not well lit. It's not developed. Over the years, it has been host to a lot of nefarious activity. Again, our local police force here in the city of Mesquite, and I need to say this just going on record, I know you know this, they are amazing. Our first responders in our city are amazing to Dallas Christian School. They are a tremendous blessing. They take particular care to always make us aware of what's going on in that contiguous piece of property. As you can imagine, we would want to know. So they're always there. But nonetheless, it is a hot spot, and there's a lot of activity, human trafficking, all sorts of things. People drive from all over the city of Dallas to engage in activities in that area. I do believe not only on behalf of Dallas Christian School, we would appreciate the council's support here, but the city of Mesquite, I think, will benefit as well with a vision to develop that. We like all the aesthetics. We like the lighting packages. We like the type of relationships that we will have, certainly with Mr. Nunley. So as far as that goes, I just would like to say on behalf of Dallas Christian School and our board, we are in full support of this project, and we think it'll be a great addition to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming forward. Anyone else wishing to speak on 14 or 15 tonight? Seeing none, I'd come back to the council. Do we have any other comments or a motion on item 14?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and second.
I have a question for the developer.
Yes,
actually.
sir.
Sorry.
That's fine.
So, I don't anticipate, based on the presentation that you made and everything, but we've had some developers in the past where we've gotten burned on some things, and we've rezoned their property. We've done a number of other things, and sure enough, the property just languishes. And so what I was curious about, your timeline for construction is, what's that window look like?
Immediately. The city staff has been gracious enough to allow us to pursue a concurrent site plan approval along with this rezoning process. So we are actually through our first round of detailed site plan approval and working hand in hand to try to get that back in front of P&Z on the 24th. We are scheduled to close on that property August 12th. In good Lord willing, when we do so, we will close with a building permit in hand.
So if I were to put a condition on this zoning that you have to apply for a building permit within 2 years, otherwise staff can report to us that that hasn't happened and we can consider a rezoning application at that point, you wouldn't have a problem with that stipulation being added to this zoning, would you?
Will you give me 3?
I'll give you 3.
Deal.
All right.
So that's a friendly, are you asking that to be a friendly amendment?
That's what I'm curious is if the movement and the second will consider that to be a friendly amendment.
I will.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yes. So we have the both.
And Mayor, I did just have one quick question while you're still there. Just to recap, upon completion, when you get a CO, how many jobs are we thinking could fill that space?
Up to 900.
And what's the value today, and what would be the value at completion?
Taxable or all-in cost?
Let's go all in. Let's recap.
All-in cost for us is about $70 million.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a big positive development in the north side. And Mayor, I'll just say each year, Keep Mesquite Beautiful sends hundreds of volunteers out all over the city. And I get a bunch of students. I'm a high school teacher. And it seems like one way staff sticks it to me each year is to go to this site. And I can't tell you how many appliances we've gotten out of this site, how many tires and just muck. And so I'm really excited to see your fruition from what I know to be an illegal dumping site to this is going to be a big transformation. I'm excited.
There will be no more trash.
Awesome.
We have our city attorney's light on, I see.
Mayor, just a point of information. I'm curious if the motion is to address both items, 14 and 15, or you're going to do them separately?
I was taking them
Okay, all right,
separately
very
for
good.
the attorneys in the room. We have a motion before us and a second. Yes, sir.
I wanted to also
Comment?
I want to thank you also, as I did the previous developers, because, like many cities, we're about to face a little bit more of a tighter budget scenario here pretty soon. So having companies like yourself who want to come in and make a huge investment in our city is going to help make up some of those losses that we may see. So welcome, 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 and please invest in other ways in the community as well when you're able to. We'd love to have you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sure. Any other comments? So we have a motion and second on item 14. Please cast your vote. And that item passes 7-0. Let's move to item 15. Do we have a motion there as well?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Do we have the same stipulations?
Yes.
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 Well, I'd need them stated
Yes.
since it's a separate motion with the 3 years.
Okay, yes, 3 years. If no application for a building permit has been made by May 31 of 2022, staff shall provide a report to the city council for consideration of initiating a zoning application on the property.
So we have a motion and a second. All right. Please cast your vote. That item passes 7-0. We've got lots of dirt fixed to start moving around in Mesquite, so thank you guys. We appreciate you very much.